Learn to discipline your thoughts right now as a boy. And it'll help you throughout your life. If you don't, you're going to be a slave to your own passions and desires, and you'll never know what it is to be a real man and take a stand for something. All of us have enough trouble with our thoughts. We need to learn how to discipline them as soon as we can. I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to be respectful of girls. When others are disrespectful, take a stand for that which is right. Have the courage to do what's right. I spoke in Oklahoma City to 3,000 students in a gymnasium in a high school, a big high school. And as soon as I got through talking to them, and I talked to them about morals and about how a boy will lie to a girl and be dishonest to her, you know, these boys can convince some girls of anything. They seem to take pride in being able to convince you they love you and seeing you lose your purity and seeing you fall. There seems to be a pride on some of their parts. And so I was talking about how the boys in many instances will lie and how they'll tell a girl something isn't true to get them to be impure. And then the girl will do it, and she'll be sorry for it. But anyway, we dismissed, and we all went out in the hall, and all the kids were going down the hall, and I saw this girl go running across the hallway right over to her boyfriend, and she just doubled up her fist, and she said, "Pow!" and clobbered him. And that boy came walking over there to me. He said, "Man, what are you trying to do, get me killed?" And he said, "You know," he said, "I've done that girl so dirty." He said, "Man, I've used her." He said, "I've lied to her." He said, "Man, I have been rotten." And he said, "You know, I'm really sorry about it." He said, "I really am." I spoke in Mississippi in a high school to 1,300 students, and I talked about morals, and I asked the boys to be honest and to level with the girls, to tell them the truth, to be honest. And there's some boys that'll have the courage to go around and say, "You know, he told you the truth today, girls. You better learn. Get smart, get wise." Well, I got through talking. I challenged some of the boys to do that. And when I got through in the high school, I looked over on my right, and I saw the whole football team standing over there. I could tell the football players all had on their jackets. And so I looked over at them, and they were waiting over there kind of like a mob. You know, I thought, good night, what are they going to do, run me out of town? And so I just went ahead and eased over, and there's one guy standing in front. He weighed 240 pounds. He had all state on his sleeve, and he had 3 bars on the letter, and he had a star on it, so I knew it was a 3-year letterman. I knew he was captain. And I walked over to him, and he held out his hand, and I shook his hand. And he said, "Listen, we've been standing over here talking together as a football team." And he said, "You know," and at that time his voice cracked. He said, "Man, I've been the lowest, the dirtiest kind of person it's possible for a boy to be." He said, "I'm popular in this school." He said, "Everybody, it seems like, likes me." And he said, "You know, I've taken advantage of so many girls in this school." He said, "I feel about as big as a tack." He said, "Man, I'm ashamed." He said, "I don't know about the rest of the football players, but he said, I know what I'm going to do." He said, "I'm not only going to give my apologies to the young ladies that I've lied to and been dishonest to, but he said, I'm going to talk to all of them." He said, "I'm going to talk to every girl I can see. And I'm going to tell them that you told them the truth." And he said, "And I believe the rest of the football team is going to do the same thing." And those fellows said, "We are." The principal called me 3 days later. He said, "James, you wouldn't believe the change that's come about in our school." He said, "It's a miracle." He said, "The attitude of the students toward morality has completely changed." He said, "These who were about to throw their lives away have been by in the office to see me. They've made apologies for some of the ways they've acted in the past, for their disrespectful attitudes and for their impure way of living that so many knew about." And he said, "It's changed our school." He said, "I'm so glad." He said, "Those football players have done miracles." You want to know something, fellas? It takes more courage to take a stand for that which is right than it does for you to get out there and butt heads on the football field. If you want to find out what you really are, you just start taking a stand for that which is right. I challenge you to do it. I hope you will do it. We're going to get up in just a moment, and we're going to walk out of this auditorium. And as soon as we get up and walk out, if you're like some students that I've spoken to, there'll be some in your group who will walk out of here and make fun of me and laugh at me and put me down. There'll be some who'll go out here and say, "Man, what do you think about that kook? What do you think about that square? What do you think about it?" And they'll make fun of me. I don't like for people to make fun of me. I don't like people to laugh at me. Do you? But I'll tell you this. I'm not too good for you to laugh at if you want to. I'm not too good for you to make fun of if it'll make you happy. I'm not too good for you to come by and spit on if it'll make you happy. If you want to walk out of here and put me down the rest of the day to all your friends, you go right ahead. You have yourself one big time. But you just remember this. One day a young man walked in your school auditorium. Nobody paid him anything. He had nothing personal to gain from it. But he came out of a genuine interest in you. You remember one day a young man came into your school and took a little bit of your time and a little bit of his and told you a whole lot of truth. And what you want to do about it is completely up to you. Feel free to put me down, to laugh, to make fun. That's your business. But I hope there'll be many of you who will take a stand for that which is right. And you'll say to your friends, I might not be able to do it, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to be honest. I hope you will. I challenge you to do it. Live like you ought to live, and you'll have a blessed life. You play a loose small game, you play to lose. You learn how to live now, someday you're going to make a living. Learn to live. Learn now.